Hello everyone, and welcome back to the High Council. Today we are going to be doing our final deep dive into the Day 1 releases by having a look at the Twice the Pride squad pack and seeing what Count Dooku, Jango Fett and the Magna Guards can get up to in Star Wars Shatterpoint. Just want to say thank you very much to all of the new subscribers to the channel. It's really gone well in the last week when we've done the 7 days of Shatterpoint. And if you haven't checked out any of my other videos, there are deep dives on everyone that we've got from the core set and the Hello There squad pack so far, which I'll leave a link to up in the corner. And then also my most recent video, the 5 things that you might be doing wrong in Shatterpoint. It seems like it's been really well received by the community and the overall views have been very positive. So do check those out. But for now, let's take a look at our first member right there. Count Dooku, the Separatist leader. First of all, let's have a little look at the model. You're going to have to forgive me, I'm mid-paint job here. I've just got some touching up of the face to do, and obviously the base. I'll probably get a bit stronger on the highlights. Normally he would come with a cloak. I've assembled it so that I could paint the cloak completely separately. Unfortunately, that then meant that I couldn't get the cloak to fit on. So if you're someone who likes to paint individually, stay focused. If you're someone that likes to paint individually like that, I would just recommend really making sure that that cloak does fit. Beforehand, I was toying with the idea before that of doing a cloakless version anyway. I just think that looks quite cool. And then it's just a little bit of green stuff then that's gone into both of the cloak holes. And then Count Dooku has got the option for a Force Lightning hand instead of the normal hand. I've just gone for the normal hand because I think the Force Lightning, I thought some of my friends were going to do actually, and it turns out none of them have. So who knows, we might have to get another Count Dooku purely so he can do a Force Lightning look. But that is Count Dooku, the model. Let's leave him up here. And then we get into his unit card. So Count Dooku is going to be providing us with 7 squad points to use, and then 4 Force icons. So continuing the theme of 7 squad points gives you 4 Force, and 8 squad points gives you 3 Force. He is then Count Dooku, Separatist leader, Count Dooku, primary unit. If we flip him over, he has got the Force user, Separatist alliance, and Sith tags, with a stamina of 10 and a durability of 3. We can see from his order card, it's got a convenient reminder that he's got a tactics ability. So this is the first primary unit we've seen with a tactics ability. So he has 1 tactics, 2 reactive, and then 1 identity ability. So no active abilities, which is quite interesting to use here. So his tactic ability, leader of the Separatist army. At the start of this unit's activation, choose another allied Separatist character within range 3. Each character in this unit and the chosen character may dash. Very nice. You've got those people moving up alongside Dooku as he's heading forwards, heading towards the front line. And then 2 reactive abilities. So the first one is, surely you can do better. When a character in this unit is targeted with an attack, this unit may spend 1 to 3 Force to use this ability. While modifying the attack roll, change 1 hit to a failure for each Force spent. There is a slight errata on this, and it has been slightly reworded. So it is no longer that. It is when a character in this unit is targeted with an attack, but whilst this character is defending against an attack. I think that keyword of targeted versus defending meant originally he had to spend the 3 Force right at the start of his, like when he was targeted as the attack, and kind of hope that you got those hits that you could change. And now that it's changed the word to defended, we can allow the defender to roll, the attacker even, to roll their dice first. I did this to really great effect against one of my friends last week. We had absolutely, Dooku completely whiffed his roll, ended up with I think 1 block and like 4 failures, and we just converted 3 hits to failures, which meant he only took like the equivalent of 2 successes or something, which was very, very nice. And then his other reactive ability, Twice the Pride, double the fall, which does cost 1 Force. So after a melee attack targeting an allied character within 2 is resolved, this unit may use this ability. If the attack rolled no hits, one character in this unit may dash and then may make a 5 dice attack targeting the attacking character. Now these two are linked quite nicely to one another, because surely you can do better allows you to change hits to failures, and twice the pride double the fall then means that if there are no hits in the result, so very specifically doesn't say if the attack rolled no successes, it is purely hits. So if your opponent has got a load of crits, then great for them, but if they've got no hits, then you can still use this, which is very nice. And then obviously a 5 dice attack just for free is very nice as well. And then his identity ability, Brave but Foolish. Once per turn, when an allied primary or secondary unit is wounded by an enemy effect, after the effect is resolved, refresh 2 force. Then choose an allied Separatist Alliance supporting unit. One character in the chosen unit may dash or make a 5 dice attack. This is definitely something that I didn't do very well, because I realised about 2 turns later that I could have done this ability. But we're getting some force refreshing during the turn, which is quite nice, especially if we're doing the twice the pride double the fall quite consistently, or if he's getting attacked quite a bit, he can use surely you can do better a bit more often. And then the allied Separatist Alliance supporting unit can either be, so far obviously we've got the Magna Guards, the B1s, or the just those two for now, because they're the only Separatist Alliance ones. When we see Grievous come out, we'll have the B2s as well, the Super Battle Droids. But obviously that's not going to be for another couple of months after the delayed announcement, which was a bit of a shame. But that is Dooku as a card. Nothing overly overwhelming there. I do like the synergy between surely you can do better, twice the pride, double the fall. You're probably going to look at 4 of your, so here's 4 force that he's going to contribute. You're potentially going to be doing for that one action. But when it comes off, it is very nice. So let's stick that over here. And then let's have a look at his stance card. So 2 different stance cards. Force Mastery on this side, and then Form 2 Makeshi. So we'll start with what's probably his ranged attack, the most devastating side. So Force Mastery, he's got a ranged 4 ranged attack, rolling 8 attack dice and 6 defense dice. And in melee, he's rolling 6 attack and 6 defense as well. This is where it starts getting nice. In his ranged attack expertise, 1 to 2 expertise becomes a crit and a damage. 3 to 4 become 2 damage, 2 crits and a damage, apologies. And then over 5 becomes 3 crits and a damage. Very nice. And his lightsaber ability for melee expertise, 1 to 3 will become 2 crits, and then over 4 becomes 2 crits and 1 hit as well. Not a huge distance he could go down the combat tree, but we're starting with 2 damage off the bat, and then we either go along the top for 2 heals, or we come down to the bottom for a damage and a disarmed. So if we go along the top, we're doing 2 damage, 2 heals, a damage and a pinned, 2 damage and a reposition, followed up by 2 damage. Or if we come along the bottom, we're doing 2 damage, damage and disarmed, damage and strained, damage and exposed, and then 2 damage as well. So at most on this side, we're putting out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 potential damage. As always, let's see if he was to roll 8 dice, just what he would be pumping out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 dice. Let's see. Oh wow. So quite a bit. So we've got 1 failure. Let's get rid of that one straight away. We're on 5 hits. 1 expertise, which is going to become 1 crit, and then 1 damage. And as always, we say that 3 get blocked, because that's probably the law of averages. So we're left with 4 successes, which we could get all the way down to sort of this half of the combat tree. So it could be 2 damage, some heals, a bit of movement and a reposition, or we could just absolutely pack on the conditions on our opponent and come along this bottom way here. But I'd probably head along the top. It might depend on if Dooku is in need of a heal, or if any characters within range 2 of him are in need of a heal. And we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage, plus 2 heals, a pinned, and a reposition as well. which can all be quite nice. Didn't talk about his defensive expertise, I'm pretty sure. So defensively expertise, he is going to be 1 to 2 is going to convert to a block, 3 to 4 is 2 blocks, and then 5 plus is 3 blocks on his defensive expertise. And if we flip him over, this is now Dooku up close and personal. Combat tree looks way complicated, but we've got a 4 ranged attack with 6 attack dice and 5 defense dice, or we've got his melee 7 attack dice, 7 defense dice. This is definitely the side you want to be on if you want to be in melee, because we can see here 1 to 3 expertise with his ranged attack becomes a hit and a damage, nothing to scoff at. 4 plus becomes a crit, a hit and a damage. Not great compared to some of the other things we've seen. But expertise with his lightsaber in melee, 1 to 2 becomes 2 crits, 3 to 4 becomes 2 crits and a hit, and 5 plus becomes 3 crits. And then this is also something that I really like about here. So duelist training, his defensive expertise on this side, 1 to 2, a block and then a crit down to a failure. 3 plus is a block and then 2 crits down to 2 failures. And if you combine that with something like twice the pride, double the fall, and surely you can do better, all of a sudden that attack might do absolutely nothing in total, because we've converted some crits down to nothing, and then we've taken those hits and converted them down to nothing as well. And then if we look at his combat tree here, so this is where it gets a little bit funky looking, but overall it's the same. It is actually the same combat tree the entire way down. The only thing is just different conditions. So this first one we're going to do 1 damage and a shove with the top one, or 1 damage and a reposition with the bottom one. Then coming into the middle for 2 damage, and then we're either going up to the top and doing 2 damage and a shove, or down to the bottom and 2 damage and an exposed. Back into the middle for 2 damage, 1 damage and a shove if we go up top, 1 damage and a strained if we come down to the bottom, followed up by 2 damage and a reposition. So his damage output is consistent the entire way through. It's just different conditions or actions depending on what you think might be best, if you want to just force someone off an objective, or if you are just looking to pile on some conditions that an already beaten down character. That is Count Dooku. So the maximum damage he could output on this side is, obviously we've got 6 in the combat tree. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 with 7. Let's just see what we would get to on this side. Obviously looking for those expertise, which, so in true what I describe High Council dice rolling, we get 3 failures, 3 expertise, which are going to become 2 crits and a hit. So hit, crit, crit. As always, we're going to assume that at least 3 of them are blocked, and then we're left with 2 crits. So not a great roll probably, and we're going to be pushing out 3 damage in total with either a reposition or a shove in there at all. That is Count Dooku, and a look at what he can do. Let's have a look at the most famous bounty hunter of the Clone Wars. I know that someone is going to pull me up on the fact that I've just described Jango Fett as the most famous bounty hunter of the Clone Wars. He was definitely dead during the Clone Wars, because he was, as we know, decapitated by Mace Windu at the first Battle of Geonosis. Before that, he was one of the most famous bounty hunters in the galaxy. That's more what I was going for. As always, let's have a look at the model. So you can see the model here is primed for me, and I've started, so it's on the base. So I love the model, love the detail. Not a huge fan of the pose. I'd prefer it if both his pistols were shooting the same way. And then he does come with this bit of, I don't know what you describe it as, terrain that he stands on. Tactical rock might be the correct term if you're a Marvel Crisis Protocol player. Which obviously I've covered up with my basing at the minute, because I'm not a huge fan. Not a huge fan, and it doesn't really fit the theme that I'm going for. Just to have a random piece of like debris, because everything for me is going to be based at jungle style, as you'll see with Magna Guards in a bit. But That is Jango Fett. Jango Fett. And then, as a bounty hunter, Jango Fett is a 4 points cost, 0 force, Jango Fett bounty hunter, Jango Fett secondary unit. He has got the tags Bounty Hunter, Mercenary, Scoundrel, Separatist Alliance, with a stamina of 9 and a durability of 2. I am very excited to see when we get the release of like Cad Bane and Aura Singh, what sort of synergy the Bounty Hunter faction will all have together, because I think that could be very cool indeed. Then he has got 2 active abilities, 1 reactive ability, and then 2 innate abilities. So we've got more abilities than Count Dooku, surprisingly. Let's have a little look at them. So the first one, Jetpack, costs 1 force. Each character in this unit may perform the jump action. Number 2 is Capture Wire, also costing 1 force. Pull a chosen enemy character, choose a character in this unit and an enemy character within range 3 of that character. Pull the chosen enemy character range 2 toward the chosen allied character. Then the chosen enemy character gains the pinned condition. So a little bit of a mouthful, but essentially they're range 3 of each other. You can use Capture Wire, pull Dooku, range 2, closer to Jango Fett. Then we've got a reactive ability, Not So Fast, also going to cost 1 force. At the start of an enemy unit's activation, if 1 or more characters in that unit are within range 3 of a character in this unit may use this ability. Roll 5 attack dice. The activating unit suffers 1 damage for each crit and hit in the roll. I really like this. It is a great way to finish off a nearly defeated unit. It's straight damage. There's no blocking it. There's no save. If you've got opponents activating a unit that's got 2 to 3 health left to go, and you think, hey, why not? Let's see what we get. 5 dice, crits and hits. So that one will do 2. So again, if they've got two wounds left in there, 2 wounds left of their stamina, then that's something that's just instantly going to end their activation. Obviously, if a character gets to their wound threshold in their activation, that's it. The activation's over. So that is very nice. And the fact that they don't get a save against that damage is awesome. We then look at his innate ability. So my client is getting impatient. After this unit makes a focus action, 1 character in this unit may jump. So a nice little 2 for 1 there. You can take the focus action, perform the jump, maybe get into a more suitable position for blasting away some clones. And then I'm just looking to get paid. When a character in this unit wounds an enemy primary unit or enemy secondary unit, after the effective resolve, refresh 2 force, and 1 character in this unit may heal 2. So you're going to be wanting him to go after those, the big guns, the primary units, the secondary units. Probably for me, the secondary units more. They're more likely to be the ones that you're going to want to try and kick and beat down. Or, it might just be to finish off that primary that's in a bad place. If you combine that with Not So Fast, then that's really nice as well, because you might want to, just happen to, let's get Dooku back. Dooku just happens to be here. He's going to activate, so we're going to do Not So Fast. That's going to put on another couple of damage, and then that will wound him, and all of a sudden Jango Fett can heal up and refresh some force as well. So very nice synergies there. And then let's look at his stance card. So he is a resourceful gunslinger with ranged for ranged attack, rolling 6 dice offensively, 5 dice defensively. Then the exact same in melee, so 6 dice offensively and 5 dice defensively. His expertise is going to give him his custom blaster pistol. Is 1 crit at ranged for 1 expertise, 2 to 3 is going to become 2 crits, and then 4+ is going to become 2 crits and a hit. In melee, he's still using his custom blaster pistol, but this time 1 expertise will become 1 damage, 2 to 3 becomes a hit and a damage, and then 4+ becomes a crit, a hit, and a damage as well. Just building on that, damage is already going to start piling up and is unavoidable. And we can see from his order card, his stance card, and the combat tree that there are some significant options and abilities to put some damage out. So, always going to start off with 2 damage, and we go to 1 damage and a strained, and then we get the first really interesting choice, which I think will be always something very interesting. He's either going to come up to the top to do 2 damage and a jump action, or he's going to come down to the bottom to do an active ability without paying force. That could be a jetpack. So that could be I just want to get out of the way now. I've got in there, I've shot some people, now I kind of want to jump to safety. Or a capture wire, because we actually want to just pull. It's going to be the end of the round, and we just want to pull that enemy off of the objective that they're currently controlling, and we can flip that over. He's then going to come back into the middle for 2 damage and a shove. And then if we get all the way to the end, he's going up top to 3 damage and a jump, or 3 damage and a shove. So really got some strong abilities to pack a punch here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 total damage is possible. 5 successes down the combat tree. So it might be a little way to go, but if you think that if we're doing a range attack, 2 expertise are going to convert to 2 crits. So he's got the 6. 6 is normal. That's a Jango Fett better roll. So 3 failures, we'll get rid of them. But then those 2 expertise are just becoming 2 crits straight up. So we are 3 crits. So we're coming down to doing at least 1, 2, 3, at least 3 damage in the strained, and then either another 2 and a jump, or we're coming down and doing that active ability. You're going to want him in and about, jumping from place to place, probably just pinging some shots off, jumping somewhere for safety, jumping back in, pinging some shots off, jumping somewhere for safety. I think that's going to be the best way to use Jango Fett. You're going to want to get not so fast off, I think, as often as possible. So if he's right in the middle of a group of enemy characters, he can do it when Dooku activates, and when Aside Adventurers activates, and when the 5 First Clones activate, because they're all going to be his enemies, all within range 3, if you've got him right in the middle there. That is Jango Fett. Let's have a look at the final unit that come here, the Magna Guards. Right then, Magna Guards. Let's have a look at the models. So these are actually the first unit I've fully painted. Any feedback is more than welcome. You might be able to see the look that I'm going for on the bases there. So this is pose 1. If anyone was interested, it's just sprayed lead belcher. Picked out some details like the red eyes, the red centerpiece. The cape is Vallejo heavy purple, and then for the end of the force pikes, I initially went over them with white, and then they are contrast Magos purple, I want to say, and then the droid is dry brushed silver, just to pick out some of the details from there. But that is pose 1. And second pose here. So this is more of a, I've got that one, I'm about to swing around at you. And then the base of the capes were just dry brushed with a flat earth, I think, from Vallejo model cover. But that is the Magna Guards. Spoiler alert, I really like Magna Guards. I think they're going to be awesome. They are 3 points cost. 0 force Magna Guard supporting unit comes with 2 in the unit. And then they have a reactive ability and 2 innate abilities. So reactive ability number 1. After an allied Separatist Alliance primary unit makes a move action, this unit may use this ability. Choose a character in the activating primary unit. One character in this unit may advance towards the chosen character. Massive difference there. Advance, not dash. So they're going to get that full range movement. I think mine are No, I have got my tools out. So the difference between an advance and a dash. So dash is what normally 9 out of 10 things say. That's the length of a dash. That's the length of an advance. It's double the length, which is awesome because you've seen a lot of other places that say you can dash, you can dash. I've got Kalani's card here. After you do something, you can dash. This is the first one that we've seen that says a proper advance. And we didn't talk about the tags, so let's quickly do that. They're Battle Droid, Droid, Separatist Alliance, Trooper, Stamina of 10, Durability of 2. The reason I had Kalani's card here is, although I'm going to do a full synergy video looking at Separatists, clones, etc., this is a Battle Droid supporting character, so we'll work with Kalani's Battle Droid supporting character, another Allied Battle Droid character, an Allied Battle Droid character, an Allied Battle Droid character. Kalani and Kraken, when he comes out, are going to do absolutely loads for these, so just don't think to yourself it says Battle Droid, therefore it is B1 Battle Droids. It is anything that's got a Battle Droid on, which is awesome. So we've looked at the reactive ability. We've only got the 2 innate abilities. So Bodyguard. So allied primary characters and allied secondary characters within range 2 of a character in this unit have cover 1. So getting that extra defense dice. So you stick, you've got Count Dooku next to him. Boom, Count Dooku is getting cover 1. But that is not the best part. The best part, for my opinion, is intercede. So while this unit is not wounded, enemy characters engaged with 1 or more characters in this unit cannot target allied primary characters or allied secondary characters with attacks. So here's a little setup. So you're going to have to pretend Ventress is on one team, Ventress is on your opponent's team, Dooku is on your team. You've got the Magna Guards here as well. Cool, we're engaged. The Magna Guards and Ventress are engaged with one another, so don't even think about attacking Dooku, because you just can't do it. So you're going to want to stick each Magna Guard probably next to your primary or your secondary character as much as possible to keep them safe for just as long as possible, which is very cool. And then obviously a reminder that you get the advance straight away, so your primary unit is going to move up a bit, and then your Magna Guard can just go and follow them straight away. You combine that with their 10 stamina. That is, I believe, off the top of my head, clones are 7. They might even be 6. Battle droids are definitely like not that high either. They've got the same stamina as an Obi-Wan, like a Ventress, and you'll see the dice that they roll. They're no jokes either from their dice. Talking about dice that they roll. So they have no ranged offensive attack. They are a full melee unit, but they are going to roll 5 defensively. And then they're rolling 6 offensive dice in a melee with 5 defensive dice as well. Their expertise is going to give them 1 expertise becomes 1 crit, 2 to 3 becomes 2 crits, 4 plus becomes 3 crits. And then defensively, 1 expertise is becoming a block, and 2 plus are becoming 2 blocks. With a combat tree that is only 4 long, but the chances are you're probably going to get to stage 3 or 4 quite frequently, I think, when they are engaged. So they've got 1 damage and a shove as your first action, 2 damage and a shove, and then you've got decisions to make. You can go up top and do 2 damage and a reposition followed up by a heal, or you can come to the bottom and do 2 damage and a disarmed action followed by a damage and a shove. So at best you're going to be putting out 6 damage if you come along this bottom tree here, 6 damage with 3 shoves and a disarm. But you take those 6 dice, you combine it with the expertise, and the chances are, unless you roll really badly, your Magna Guards are going to be 1 expertise becomes 1 crit. Your Magna Guards are going to quite consistently get to number 2. They probably should get to number 3 quite often, which is 5 damage. 5 consistent damage for a supporting unit, I think, is awesome. Whilst they're there and whilst they're not wounded, intercede will kick in, and you just can't attack them if they're engaged. Basically, engaged, you've basically got to shoot them with range attacks. But if you're going to shoot them with range attacks, they're going to have cover 1 because of bodyguard. just awesome. And they're only three points cost. I think we'll see Magna Guards quite a lot. All I'll say is just remember how you position them, just remember their location, and remember all of the rules that come with them. So that was a little deep dive into Count Dooku, Jango Fett, and the Magna Guards for Star Wars Shatterpoint. Thank you very much if you're still here, you're awesome. I have weekly content coming out now the week of Shatterpoint is over. So next week is either going to be a droid synergy video or a clone synergy video. I haven't quite decided which one yet, probably depending on which one takes my fancy at the time, in and amongst all my other painting. Thanks for sticking around, and we'll see you in the next video.